Hey designers, today I'll try to clone this Nike webpage. I already made a screenshot, and if you go here, you can see there's a navbar on top. And if you scroll down, there's different elements, a lot of images, product sections, promotional content. I'll do is use Tailwind CSS as a starting point, so I'll use that library, official Tailwind CSS styles. I enabled that. If you don't have that, you could go to official Tailwind CSS styles and duplicate that and use it as your library. I would use a frame, create a frame by pressing F, and then I'll start with maybe this size. So the width is important. The width is 375 and the height, it would grow. So I'll just keep it like that. Create this navbar here. I already have some assets, so I'll just take that. And I would say I need the icon here, the logo, and the icon. So the icons I would use auto layout, so Shift A to make an auto layout, and then make the spacing maybe 16. I think that would be enough. So then I would grab this and then create another auto layout, which has a padding left and right 24, because if you see in the designs, I think the spacing is 24 already. And you have the logo on the left side and the icons on the right. And maybe for some height, I would add more padding inside. So maybe 16, I think would be enough. And just place it into the app or the screen and then resize it to 375 and align it to the top like so. So the next part is I see a big image and some big fonts, description and some buttons. So first thing, I'll actually plan it that I'll use paddings left and right, maybe 24 and 24. And because I specified the width, I will do some calculation. So for the width, I'll create a rectangle where I could place the image by pressing R, and then say I would calculate that by saying 375, typing it in, minus 24 left, 24 on the right. So when I press enter, it would give me 327, which would be the width I will be using for this one here. I won't place the image now, but maybe let's put some text inside. I'll just put some dummy text. And maybe I would already put the font style. So I think it's pretty dark. So I'll go for 900. I don't see it inside, so I'll just move it inside the frame. And then I would go to the text because I'm using Tailwind CSS styles. It's pretty big, so maybe I go for 36, and it's pretty bold. I would try to use extra bold. Yes, I think I could achieve that. And then I'll just create another one, copy the text here, and then I think it's pretty small, maybe a 16. So I would choose that from here, but it would be a normal font, like so, normal weight. And yes, so just bear with me, and maybe I create the buttons already here. I'll just say button, and then I'll create an auto layout already, Shift A, you get a button, and then I would fill it in with pretty dark color, which would be 900, and then select the text, go to maybe white, and choose the style for this. It's not that big, so 16 semi-bold, so it's not that bold, so I'll just use that. But you see the corners, so I'll maybe go for 30. I think you'll get a full round corner. And then I need to play around with the padding here. So I would use, maybe, I see a lot of padding left and right, maybe 16, and it's pretty tight top and bottom, so maybe 8. And I think I have a nice little button. Maybe I need a bit more, 20. So I would already create this into a component. You could press this button on top, but I'll usually use Option Command K to create a component. Now I have a component. I'll just rename that to button and make a duplicate by dragging it with Option. So group it and say auto layout, Shift A, then it will give me an auto layout. And then add this, go to one of my plugins called the Lorem. I'll add the link in the description so you would have access to it. Maybe one sentence would be enough for this. And for the next one, I would maybe have 3 sentences auto-generate. Now, with this auto layout, I think it went with hug, meaning it'll push stuff out. So what I want is not hug, but fill container. The next one, fill container. Then you could see that it is defined by the outer width of this group or frame. So I'll say maybe promo 1 because it's the first thing on the page. And you could see that the spacing is 17, right? So I think it's like 24, pretty wide. I'll give it some space here, but the buttons need to be together. So I'll group them again, Shift A, give it to an auto layout. And then it's pretty tight, so I think it's like 8. The content for this one, which would be product for men, and the next would be women. But you see that the width isn't the same, right? So maybe we need to make it the same. It's using hug. You could go for fixed width, and then you could just increase that. But you see that it's not aligned in the middle, so we can fix that really easily. You could just align it to like so, and also for the text alignment to the middle. Then you would have the exact size, the alignment there. Okay, let's move on. I see some product here, so maybe I would have, call it section title, right? And I think already have a good size, maybe a bit bigger. Maybe it should be around 24, semi-bold, and then you have product, right? But it duplicates itself horizontally, so I'll just create maybe a box for the image. I'll have it maybe, I'll just eyeball it to 80, I think, for the image. And then I just need some text for the product title. Product title, I will just left line, and then description, and then you would have the price. Right now I would style this, which would be a bit small. I think it's around 16, but maybe it's a semi-bold here. I'll just Command Option C to copy, Command Option V to copy paste in the style, so you have the same style here. Also, I think the font size would be the same for the description, but if you see here, it's a bit lighter, so I'll go for normal. What did I use for this one? Normal. So okay, you shouldn't be using too many font weights, so that's why I checked. Okay, so for this one, it would be a bit light, so maybe it would be like 600 for the darkness. I'll go for 900 for that. And then again, I would select all of it and then press Shift A to create into an auto layout. But for the content in the bottom, I would also again press Shift A and rename it to content. And because you see that the spacing is a bit different from here and over here, so it's pretty tight. Maybe I go for 2. Yes, I think that's pretty much right. And for the outer spacing over here, I could just drag this like so, but I usually like to just type it in. I think it's also like 24, maybe too big. Maybe I'll go down to 16. Yeah, that's good. I know I'll be using these, so I'll just make it into a component, Command Option K. I have a component, I would say product item. And then what I can do is make some copies of it, duplicate by Command D, another one. And then what I'll do is group them like so, select them and then Shift A again to make an auto layout. And it's pretty tight, so I'll say it's around 8. And then make another auto layout with the horizontal cards. Select the title and then the rest of the frame and Shift A again like so. And then I think I'll leave it as is, but yeah, I think it works out here. So I have a product section. Now let's increase the height way more. Okay, so you see it's repeating itself, and I'll just copy paste this section title here and create another image rectangle that I'll copy paste in. Remember the width was 327 that I used, so I'll press in 327. The height I'm not sure about, but I'll just eyeball it like that. And you see that it repeats itself like so. So I'll create it into another component, but let's first type in the description. So description here, and it'll be white. So maybe I put it white, and then you have the button here, right? But it's a white variant. Usually if you have a bigger design file, you would create variants, but because this is a single page, I'll just show you how to quickly change the color. So I have an instance of that, and I'll just change the color to white and select the text and then go for 900. So now you have another variant of the button, but just overrode the stuff there. So for the description, I think it's pretty small, so I'll go for 16 semi-bold here, and then place it like that and say, so yeah, you could just resize it like so. I'll group these two in an auto layout and say the spacing is pretty big, 24 I think is good. Set button group again. I'll add this as just a frame, Command Option G. I think it's good with the frame. I'll rename it as image here and then place it as constraints. So in the bottom, it'll go for 24 maybe left, and the bottom, then just have it and create it into a component, Command Option K. Okay, actually I don't need the background image because I could just paste it into the frame itself. and I'll just add a little color here just to demonstrate that it's fillable. Okay, so that's, and you have that portion done. And I'll make a copy and yes, group these two together, which is pretty tight, 8 between. And then again with the section title, how much did I use? Okay, I need to define this actually. It should be maybe 36, right? Well, then I'll group this again and it'll be 36. Okay, so you have that covered. And let's go to, okay, you have the same section here. Maybe I create this whole portion into a component, Command Option K, and I would duplicate that in the bottom. So you can just use the same part again. And you see that this is somehow familiar from what you had on the top, which is actually this one. I'll just copy and paste it here just to show you. Only difference is that you have one less of a button, right? Pretty much the same layout as that. But I don't want this as just copy pasted because it's a duplicate I could already create into a component. Command Option K, you have that part. I'll copy it in the bottom and just remove one button from here, and I'll just rename it to button, and maybe the spacing should be hug. Okay, got it. So it's a small button, and also again this repeats from here, so I'll create this into a component and then copy and paste in the bottom like here. Okay, and I'll select the whole frame, make it a bit taller. Okay, so it doesn't look exact, and there's some things to fix with the auto layout, like with the description. See, if it goes over, it's pushing the box out. So we need to fix that, I think, also for here. So let's fix that and finish up the designs, because we just need to add the images and you're pretty much done. So let's go to the main component. Let's find out where it is. You just press on this button and then go to the main component. Found that. So I want this to stretch but be bound to this box. So I'll go fill container, and what you need to do is select all of the text again. So fill container, then it won't go outside but make it into second lines. So that's not a big problem here. Okay, so for this one, I'll show you what happens if I go over. It just goes like that. So we don't want that. So what we can do is, let me go back, select this. We could already say, figure this out. So this would be fill container, but line left, as you can see. I'll just create one line. Okay, so I'll just do a calculation, which would be 327 minus left and right, 24 minus 24. You get the width here. So that is done. I think most of it is solved. Maybe we do an auto layout inside again for this one, which would be just group all of these and then Shift A. It would align like so and give some spacing. I think it's pretty big spacing, so maybe it's like 72. Yep, I think that seems right. So I already have some images prepared. I copied it from the Nike homepage, and you'll be surprised how simple it is, but it's just a lot of images that we use. So I'll just use Option Command C to copy the style and Option Command V to copy it in. So for the shoe, I could do the same. See how similar it is to that, to that. Also for the shoe again, I need to override this shoe here, and then override this one with that, and that, and that. You could see how fast you could create designs with using a library and components and auto layout. If you just plan it well, pretty easy, right? And you could see that just the text content is not there, but the layout you see is pretty much there. So, but yeah, I'll just conclude this video, but making copies of designs is, I think, a good practice to see the spacing, how the font styles are used, the hierarchy, and using components, reusing components, and your styles. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to get some more content like this. Then see you next time. Bye.